Hey, it's Wegs Garage. Today we're going to be getting that transmission put back together. Let's go! Alright, so our bolts came in to mount the shifter cover on top of the transmission. So step one is we're going to get that thing put back on, which means we got to fill the transmission with some oil. And then we got to hook up some wires for the overdrive up there. And then we'll get that tunnel cover. Easier said than done, huh? Tunnel cover put back on. So we're working on getting this rubber boot on the handbrake, which kind of ties in with the transmission cover, and then the speedometer drive comes out of there and goes through that hole in the floor. Not really sure where it goes after that, but that'll take care of things for right now. So we got to notch out the cover to get this little hump in there, and then we should be ready to get it installed. Alright, so we got everything loosely fit together pretty nice. Dad's going to be putting a little bit of gasket, or putting the seal on the edges here for the tunnel cover. And then over here on the bench, got our transmission cover with the opening for the speedometer cable cut in, and then I'm going to be lining the inside of this with some reflective heat tape, hopefully keep the temperature in the cockpit down a little bit. Alright, so we got our heat tape on the trans tunnel cover. That looks pretty awesome. Should help keep things cool in the cockpit. Then over on the car, gaskets in. So I think we're pretty much ready to try and get this thing in for the last time. Quick comment here, just in case there's any wiring safety police out there. We noticed these switches, the metal from the terminals get pretty close to that foil that we put on, so we did decide to just throw some heat shrink on there and shrink it down on top of the terminals and then slide them on. So that should protect them from short. Back here under the car, again, a lot of issues getting this thing to fit up. Dad's in some pretty uncomfortable positions here. Say we got about 75% of the bolts in at this point.
If I can't get out, you know where the wheel's at, right?
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. We might have to get an engine hoist or something to get him back out, but he's gonna get the job done. Okay, so I think we got, time out. So we got everything pretty well lined up. All the bolts are in, surprisingly. And the boot there. Yeah, it actually went together. I mean, now that it's done, it looks pretty good. You kind of have to like stretch it into shape though, which makes getting the bolts in pretty tough. But
yeah, and don't forget that the ones up here on the firewall, you have to drill.
Right.
When this thing came, there weren't any holes drilled up here, so we had to slip it in, mark about where the holes were at, drill them, and then shove it in for good. And like Mark says, if you're off just a little bit, then the bolts don't start, and it's a fight, but it's done.
Yeah.
We ain't turning it off. It stays. It's time for the ceremony of the knob. Now that the transmission is buttoned up and after the day we've had fitting that cover, this is the holy grail. Now it's Miller time.